Okay, back in the Supra. Today we are going to be installing this BTI TPMS system. It's a controller and 4 sensors. I'm going to be installing the controller today, which is that box right here. That plugs into the back of that display right there. It gets its power and communicates over the CAN bus with the BTI gauge or display. Also got a new LED headband, which is super bright. This is much nicer than that light that I had, spotlight that I had before. These things are only $10 for like a pair on Amazon, so kind of crazy. But yeah, so I have an appointment on Monday to get these mounted onto the wheels. I also need two new front tires and an alignment. The previous owner, I discovered over last weekend that the previous owner had apparently not done the alignment, or done it incorrectly, or did it incorrectly, and the insides are scrubbed off and the cords are showing. So yeah, this car is undrivable until that gets fixed. So yeah, this basically just involves taking the center console off, so removing this piece, removing this, removing the top piece here, and then just plugging a single wire in, and then figuring out how I'm going to mount the controller box. So once that is in, the battery is also dead on this car. I need to recharge that battery and then test to see that the sensors work while they are not installed. So as far as I can tell, there's no power button on these sensors. It's just a thing you have to replace every 5 years. So I'm going to see if they work. I want to see if they work unmounted off the wheels, and see if I can get a signal. And then if that seems okay, then I'm going to yeah, just send this car in to the shop and have them mount these and get the new tires and alignment done. So get started on that. All right, so I've got the dash off, and as you can see, the stereo wiring and the security system wiring in here is just a giant mess. This is a project for another day when I have way more time and probably more garage space. So you can see that the gauge gets its power and signal from here, which goes down to the ECU, and that plugs into the big harness connector on the back of this BTI bracket, which the gauge sits in. So basically I got to find a place to run a wire from the smaller connector to the controller box, and then find a place to mount the controller box, which I think I'm just gonna double-sided tape it to the top of the, I believe that's the antenna amplifier, which is not used anymore in this car. So I'll actually take this out depending on how it's mounted, but yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna just stick it in there, and then yeah, there's some other stuff in here too. This needs to be cleaned up, but again, that's a project for another day. Yeah, the dash comes off pretty easy. You basically take off this top piece. There's a couple of screws underneath. You just pull it off, and then pull off this gauge pod trim, and then there's a screw right here for the center piece, for the middle piece here, and then you just pull everything out. I used a trim tool to like help it along, but really it just comes out. They're just held in by like these clip things that go into receivers on the trim pieces, so, or the panels. So yeah, I'm gonna just stick all this stuff in and then put it back together. Well, that did not go as expected. In fact, everything went wrong. First of all, the TPMS sensors did not the valve stems that the TPMS sensors are connected to did not fit the CCW Classics that I have, so I have to look at getting either different sensors or a different wheel. Obviously wheels are very expensive, so and I like the CCW, so I'm going to be getting different sensors. However, they do work. When they were sitting in the box, the controller saw them and they work fine, so that's good. But the bigger issue was the subframe on the car where you align the wheels was completely mangled. So I had to get a new subframe. This one is remanufactured. I got it off of a store on eBay, and it's in really good condition. So I'll put some photos of the damage that's currently on the car in line with the video. But basically this groove right here is where the alignment cam goes into, that's connected to the bolt or attached to the bolt. And there's 4 of them, 2 on each side. And what happens is you'll see on the pictures, but basically this area here got completely broken, worn off, worn down, mangled, whatever you want to call it. And the cams themselves were completely damaged. They were corroded or snapped or whatever. So I've got some new stuff here. This is half of what I need. So I've got the front and rear bolts, 1 cam. I ordered this stuff just to make sure I was getting the right parts, and I've got the rest coming, so they should be here in a week. And I've got some Mobile One Extended 10W30 for the TJZ, and then also a bunch of Tundra oil filters, which apparently are still being produced, obviously, since the truck is still being produced, and they fit the TJZ just fine. And I've got some new gaskets here for the oil drain pan, oil drain bolt. So I've got a shop, the shop who originally built the car, called Evasive Motorsports. I've got some time scheduled with them to get all this done. I was gonna do it at home, but then at my parents' house, actually, because they have a full garage. I was gonna do that, but then work got really busy and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna pay someone to do this. Hopefully the shop that did the original work on the car before it got damaged. So that is the plan. But yeah, this thing was only $270 or like around 300 shipped with tax and all that. So I think I got a good deal. It's remanufactured. They cleaned everything up. It smells like degreaser. And from what I can see, I inspected it, it's pretty much flawless. So it must have come off of like a car that got wrecked in the back or something, because this thing is brand new. This is actually the same subframe as the SC300 and SC400 Lexus cars. So as everyone knows, the Supra and the SC platform are, you know, very, very similar. They share a lot of parts, and this is one of them. The part number is actually the same between the Lexus and the Toyota. So that's the plan. I've got that scheduled for 2.5 weeks from now, so unfortunately cannot drive the Supra until then. I mean, I can drive it, but it's just flopping around on broken camber bolts, so no good. It's just going to chew through tires. So I'll have an update after that's done. It'll be drivable, and hopefully won't exhibit the same symptoms of like tram lining and like wobbling on the highway when you hit a crack and all that stuff. So my hopes are high, but we'll just have to wait. Luckily, this was fairly inexpensive. I'm going to spend the money on labor instead. So, all right, well, until next time, bye.